Welcome to Shomach Shava on the Daf. We're holding in Menachos Daf Pegimel. The Mishnah in the beginning of the 9th parak says that you can bring the oimer from any place. Kol ha'rotzos hayuksheyos. So Rashi says, what is kol ha'rotzos? Shebe Eretz Yisroel, kegon Yehuda ve'ever Hayarden ve'agolil ksheros. So Rashi says clearly over here that you could bring the oimer from ever Hayarden. As Rav Kiva points out, that's also Rashi says in Sanhedrin Daf Yud Aleph. Kiva sends us to the Ran in Edorim Daf Chabes, that the Ran there says clearly, Ever Hayarden lo niskadesh lahavo ha'oimer. The Chidah in the Sefer Birkei Yosef in Orach Chaim Siman Tav Pei Tes Ois Gimel brings a very, very long arichus regarding this topic. Can you bring the oimer from Ever Hayarden, yes or no? And within his words, he says, as Nekuda of Kiva that this is a machlekes Rashi and the Ran. Rashi holds that Ever Hayarden is okay to bring the oimer from, and the Ran holds that Ever Hayarden is not okay to bring the oimer from. And this is a real discussion in the poskim. The Tashbetz, Chelik Gimel Siman Reish, has a discussion. We know that the Gemara in Ksubas tells us that if you have a husband and wife, the wife can force the husband to go live in Eretz Yisroel. So he discusses there, if living in Ever Hayarden is enough to be considered to be living in Eretz Yisroel. So he says that Ever Hayarden doesn't have the same ma'ilo of Eretz Yisroel. For example, what it says that anybody goes to Eretz Yisroel of a noisav nimcholim, he has kaparas avoinus. That doesn't happen in Ever Hayarden. And when it says that a vira de Eretz Yisroel machkim, you go to Eretz Yisroel, you have bigger chachmo, that doesn't chal in Ever Hayarden. He says the biggest raya is the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu was not zoichet to go to Eretz Yisroel. He was buried in Ever Hayarden. So you see, Ever Hayarden doesn't have the same ma'ilo of Eretz Yisroel. And he goes on to say like this, that there's two types of gedushos that we're discussing in Eretz Yisroel. One is the gedushas hashchina, and the other one is gedushas mitzvahs. Gedushas hashchina you have only after you go into main Eretz Yisroel. But gedushas mitzvahs you have in both. You have in Eretz Yisroel and you have also in Ever Hayarden. And the Chidah in his Sefer Midbar Gdeimois, in Mareches Shin, when he speaks about Shechino, he goes to explain al Pi Kabbalah that the Maila of Ever Hayarden did not reach Eretz Yisroel. And he brings a remnants for the Ramami Pano that it says in the Pasuk Migrois Nosan Labais, the Migrois Mem Gimel Reish is Rosh Tevis Menachos Gad Reuven. Meaning it's not the bais itself is outside of the house, it's not Eretz Yisroel itself is outside of Eretz Yisroel. And he adds even more so, says the Midbar Gdeimos, that even in Eretz Yisroel we did not have a full shleimus of the Shechino because not all Shvatim were living there. Only Lostid Lavoi will get to the highest level of Shechina in Eretz Yisroel because as long as the Shvatim were living in Ever Hayarden, there wasn't a Shlama coming to Eretz Yisroel. But Al Kolpanim, you see this idea, this concept that Ever Hayarden doesn't have the same Kedusha and level of Eretz Yisroel. But after this is exactly the machlokes of Rashi and the Ran. Ever Hayarden does have the level of mitzvahs, but doesn't have the level of dusha. When we're talking about bringing the korban oimer, is it enough to bring from a place which has the chiyuvim mitzvahs of Eretz Yisroel, so it's subject to the mitzvahs and the inyan chodosh that we have in Eretz Yisroel, or you have to bring it from the kedusha of Eretz Yisroel, the kedusha hashchina, which Ever Hayarden does not have. Rashi holds because the mitzvahs of Eretz Yisroel chal and Ever Hayarden, you can bring the oimer from there. And the Ran holds because the Kedushas Hashchina is not there, so you can't bring the Korban Oimer from the place which doesn't have the same Milo, the same way you can't bring the Oimer from a place which doesn't have the best fruits. This is just Ha'ara Ketzara that we see from our Sugya, which is again to a very big Sugya regarding the level of Ever Hayarden. Anyone who wants to join or sponsor the Shomach Shava Shiurim, please email shomachshava@gmail.com.